What's up, guys? It's Sion, and I am back. And what you're looking at right now, of course, is Naruto Online. Now, what I'm actually going to cover today is a little bit of something somebody just asked me, and I wasn't really going to do this video, but I decided to do it now because I can see the confusion on the person, I can see the confusion and what they were saying. So I was like, no, maybe somebody else might feel this way. Now, I have actually done this before in the past, but I'll do it again so everybody can understand what's going on. And what this is, of course, if you read the title, this is going to be explanation on stats all over again. And I'm going to take it a step further on what you should focus on depending on what you have. Okay, now if you look right here, of course you have the basic stats, which is life, attack, defense, and ninjutsu and resistance. Of course, life is how much life that your character is going to have. Attack is basically taijutsu attack that you're going to attack somebody else with, and it has a modifier that goes along with it too, but I'll explain the modifiers in a second. Defense is the defense to taijutsu attack. Ninjutsu is the basically chakra and like spells, not spells, but jutsu attacks and things like that. And resistance is the resistance and defense. Well, technically resistance is defense too, but it's just called resistance to the chakra and jutsu attacks. Now, when you go down to the additional, this is where people get a little bit confused. Alright, so every main class has something that they're resistance to, like, earth is lightning is resistant to earth, as you can see right there, but my weakness is wind, so wind can do 19% extra damage to me, which is kind of sick and scary, but it's whatever. So when you look over to the left, I have my life growth, my attack growth, my defense growth, my ninjutsu growth, and my resistance growth. Now, what does that mean according to my character? Now, my lightning is all about attack and get it over with and then be done with it. It does not have a lot of defenses at all, but it does have a lot of life. So what you can do with lightning, being that you have the anvil healing and the passive, is you can make lightning a super attack tank. Like, it's definitely a great tank that you can actually have out there. So when you see this life growth right there, that's something that you should pay attention to, because that means you get a great deal of life. That's why in the mood, I take a little bit out of life and nothing else. I take it out of life because my life growth is so high to begin with. It's like around what Choji's defense is in China, and then it's pretty high. So overall, that's what I go for. Attack growth is 1324. That's definitely above average. That's actually in the good range. My defense is below average because average in this game is around 900. So keep that in mind, that if it's something under 900, then it's not based on average. See, my ninjutsu growth is below average and my resistance is below average. So I basically want to focus on getting that attack out, and if I can in life, taking a little bit of hit and then getting back at them. Now, initiative, crit, imagery, and combo and control are where I want to focus a little bit more. Initiative is how fast your character is going to move in a round compared to other characters. So if you have a high initiative and it's faster than another team, then that character is going to move first, unless there's a character that's a prompt skill. But even then, sometimes those is the prompt and the initiative sometimes just don't add up. Sometimes you just really end up with some nonsense overall. So it kind of sucks, but initiative is a good way that if you want to go first and you want your majority of your team to go first, that's how you do it. Crit. Alright, so I got kicked somehow, but I'm back. Crit attack. Now I want to put that out there. It means exactly what it said. Actually, let me rephrase that. It does not mean what it says. Crit attack is how much it says literally the probability of launching the attack or critical, so that's a percentage. It's not your critical attack, like how much critical damage is. Some people get that a little bit confused, but that's what that means. It's really critical percentage attack of the attack. So if it's 20 or whatever else, then it is what it is. Now, there used to be a point and there used to be a site, and it used to be in China where it used to tell you literally what your percentage rate is. They don't do that anymore for some reason, and the site that used to do that is down. I've been longing and searching for another site that will put those percentages back, because I do not remember what they were. And it bothers me to this day that I don't know what the percentages are for the individual characters. And the thing is that everybody's percentage is different. Everybody does not start off with the same baseline. Some characters are more, and so they even say it that okay, this person has a higher chance of critical, and they even have buffs to affect that where their critical is higher. So if I'm just saying 5%, then there's like really no way for me to really know right now, because I don't have those particular stats anymore. So I wish it was a little bit different, but I just don't have them anymore. So that's unfortunate. Injury. Increase the damage value launching. Increase the damage value of launching a critical attack. Reduce damage value of suffering a critical attack. Now this is where critical damage comes in. It doesn't say critical damage, but this goes hand in hand with critical attack. So what they really should have there to save all of this confusion is just critical percentage as a critical. It's like that would save all this confusion. It would say critical percentage. Injury actually makes sense though, but in the front one that's what it should say. Injury should say like injury and damage. It's kind of like the same thing. So I guess they did the good thing with the injury, but the critical attack, they should do something about that. But injury, damage, critical attack, reduce damage from suffering critical attack. Now, this basically you want to actually have, again, have a good thing on, because I've seen people do like 5,000 crits, and if your injury is kind of low, your critical is kind of low, it's going to hurt. You're going to be hurt. So that stat, you actually want to pay attention to that stat, not ignore any of this stuff. Combo. Increase the combo rate and attack. Increase the combo rate in regular attack and reduce combo rate when suffering a regular attack. So what this basically is when you have a higher chance to combo and you have a lower chance to get comboed. So you want to pay attention to that, because that means a lot. This is where refinement and your battle armor comes in at. Like you just, even if you put your main character out there with some good battle armor, you actually negate a lot of damage that's going to happen to your party, because the people won't be able to attack you that much if you have like a high combo rate. So there you go. And control. Increase the probability of controlling the opponent and reduce the probability of being controlled. So those attacks where you get sealed, or where you get locked out of skills and stuff like that, or you catch lightning and stuff like that, it's not going to stop dots. Let me put that into perspective for you guys. Dots do not get stopped by control at all. Nothing stops dots other than just getting rid of them or maybe being immune to it, but that doesn't stop dot. And what I mean dot by dots, for some of you guys who don't understand that terminology, that's damage over time, which is fire and poison. It does not stop that. So I just want to point that out. What actually does stop fire, let me say, what actually stops damage over time, but not stops it but lowers it, is resistance, special resistance. Like if you see, I'm forgetting what, I believe poison is earth damage that happens to you. So I believe that, I could be wrong, but I believe that's earth damage, and you can actually lower the damage from the dot with having earth resistance. So pretty much, that's why earth doesn't take as much damage from poison as other people. But I might be wrong. It might be a different damage type, but I'm pretty sure that it's earth. Same thing with fire. Fire, ignite. If you have fire resistance, you don't take the same amount of damage from ignite. So it's the same thing. Now the resistances are pretty much, there's no reason for me to explain them. They are what they are. You see right there. Now attack penetration. Attack penetration is actually very, very important, because what it does is it negates defense. And I know a lot of people ignore this when it comes to your group skills, but you really should not, because you're actually lowering your damage. I know people, and one of the reasons why people ignore it is because it doesn't raise up your battle power as much as the other things do. So you feel like, man, I'm not doing this and whatever else. No, that is an actual percentage. It doesn't show you again, but it does do an actual percentage. You end up raising percentage damage, and that's a good deal. It just doesn't show up in your power. So it does. That's why people always end up with their max skills with attack and life and defense and stuff like that, but then they ignore the penetration. You can't ignore penetration, as weird as that sounds. Same thing with ninjutsu. And now the last two, which are going to be the most interesting in this, and probably where I'm going to end up finishing the video. Damage reduction. Damage reduction works the same way the other ones work, but here's the thing with damage reduction. It works off a percentage and it lowers damage done to your actual character. Now, it will not raise your power high at all. To be honest with you, it will not, like, you will not see much of a difference, and you will think it's not even worth putting points in. But let me tell you, this is one of the most important stats that you can put a point into. It lowers all damage across the board. All damage. All the damage over time that you take, whenever you take like splash damage, whenever you take damage directly from anything that's PvE, PvP. It's one of the most important stats, and it will not raise your power much at all. And I'm going to actually show you right now. I'm standing right next to the skill instructor, right there. So I'm gonna do damage reduction. I'm at 38. See, most of my stuff is around the same except for life recovery. I'm gonna explain why that's like that in a second. Now, you see, I'm at 27,521. I'm gonna put something into that, and it is going to barely move. See that? Only went up 7 points. That's it. Now, most people are gonna look at that and be like, "Bro, I ain't doing that." But that is very important, because in rank battle, that now translates to all 12 of your characters. Not just the first 4, all 12. And ranked battle, if your defenses are high, you can actually sustain and beat people who are several power levels higher than you if your defense is higher and you got good teams. So keep that in mind when it comes to things like that. Keep that in mind, how important that stat is. That doesn't mean ignore the rest of them, but don't leave it lagging behind either, because you're gonna just be like a glass cannon. And last is life recovery. Now, life recovery is basically how much life you regain at the end of a round. Of course, if you're under some type of state like burned or poison, something like that, sometimes you just don't get that. But think about it this way: maybe a fighter lasts maybe like 5 or 6 rounds. That life recovery right there that I have is about 700 extra healing that I can put out there that my team will actually have. So the higher your life recovery it is, the more healing that you're gonna get over the course of a fight. This is good because as we get into higher levels, this stat is actually going to mean a whole lot more than what it does right now. Earlier in the game, it's whatever. You don't gain. The fights don't last long enough for that. But right now, with this, like it's going to start to pay dividends for you, especially again in things like rank battle and things of long fights of nature, because you're going to have long fights now. All right, so pretty much my thing for you guys is don't forget anything here, and pay close attention to your refinement. Your refinement actually makes you take less damage over time, so think about that as well. That's all I really got for you with stats today. I hope you guys understood a little bit, understand where you should focus a little bit on, and how you should not let this stuff linger too much. Like, try to do your best and push up things where you can. Come down every cooldown. I'm very bad at that, and I admit it. I'm very bad at coming back every 4 hours to do this cooldown. Actually, I don't even have to do it every 4 hours, because even if you do it at like 2 hours, it's just going to cool down. I'm going to get back to 4 hours, so you got to come back again at 4 hours. But pay attention. Don't every chance that you get with your group contributions, and spend a little bit of money into that, donate to your group because it helps your group. Every chance you get, make sure that you are doing this on cooldown, because it's just your power. Like, it's your power at that point. Nobody can take it from you. It's free. It's free. All it does is cost you time and you paying attention and keeping it a little bit on the schedule. So you guys be legendary. On the bottom left, again, this is, as you guys know, most of the videos, there's going to be more Naruto Online videos. You can check those out. By all means, have fun. The playlist on the bottom right is the MMO show, where I basically talk about MMOs in the week. In the middle is my nice face. You can click on that to subscribe to the channel. But other than that, you guys, peace. I will catch you next video.